Hey, what's up YouTube? Scabadger here, and we're back at the end of an action-packed day 7. So, I don't know why it's action-packed, it was pretty tame. Not much happened. We, control Australia now. So that happened. I mean, a few provinces rebelled at the end of yesterday, and we, went back in and we, captured them all and we cleaned it back up. So Australia is back under our control, with me ally New South Wales here, or Eliminator, or Flying Penguin. So, you know, that's pretty good there. We're on a good path. We're making progress. So we're moving into Papua New Guinea at the moment. Scouting out, getting some information on Borneo. And yeah, so we're making progress. Just good. Progress is good. So if we have a look at what we're doing at the moment, we can see that we are just moving a lot of ships into position, a lot of submarines. We're constructing our eastern subwall at the moment. That's going to stretch all the way up here, up to here. And then if we zoom in quickly over these dots up to here, cutting to here, and then we'll stop it right here. And then we can use the land of Papua New Guinea as a bit of a shield until later on. Now, deploying this number of submarines in a wall makes them impossible to use elsewhere, so I'm not going to fully extend it. In fact, until I fully control this area up here, it's unlikely I'll build a subwall up that way, and I'll just probably find myself cutting it off, cutting it back down here, and then connecting it down here, so we have our own little bubble of safety where nothing can hurt us. And that's the plan. To help us facilitate and get to accomplishing that plan, as you can see, we're building quite a few ships. In fact, we're now starting production of destroyers, because we need something to back up submarines. There's no point having a wall if you've got nothing to man it. Actually, that looks like a big gap down there. Did I miss a spot? Already missed a spot right there, so we've got to go back and fill that one in. Ooh, that might be. So if we move that out to there, can that just... Come on, buddy. Come on. Come on, can that cut through? No, good. Haven't missed anything. Let's close the ad. And then let's leave that right there. There we go. Oh, good. So no, there's no gap there, although there is a gap here that I'm aware about. But just due to the subs at the moment, where they're all heading, I'll fill that gap back in later on. So, like I said, there's no point having, you know, a sub wall if there's nothing behind it to man it. So I am building destroyers, and they'll make up the majority of the forces in behind the line. Generally what happens is you get a lot of submarines coming in first, and you can spot them out with that. So yeah, that's what's happening there at the moment. Now, the destroyers, before they end up on the wall though, are going to be used to help us invade Borneo. Although we don't think he has much of an air force, it's always safe and always a good idea to have some form of escort. At the moment, he does have artillery laying around, and artillery can deal basically 1 damage to ships. So if, you know, if we park up our convoys under artillery for 4 hours while they disembark, they will take 4 damage, and that's nearly enough to sink 1 convoy. And we cannot have that. Is that there yet? Nearly there. Nearly there. Okay, so we can't have that, so I want to make sure I have some ships escorting them, and also just in case they have any submarines. Now, yesterday I did deploy spies to try get reveal alls, and I did not get them. I didn't get them on anyone. I had 5 up here and 3 down on Borneo, so that was kind of sad. I was hoping for some reveal alls and we could give our allies some good intel. We could get some good intel for ourselves. But I think today we're not going to deploy on... Actually, I probably should deploy on him, because these guys up here still need that intel. So I'll keep my spies deployed down there. But seeing how much money I have when it gets a little bit closer to day change, I may deploy a few more spies down here just to guarantee I get it. Now, and once I do have that intel, I can then make proper considerations and start to prepare properly for the invasion of Borneo. So at the moment, we're just gearing up. Over the last couple of days, we have built a massive amount of troops. As you can see, I think yesterday when we left off, we were just over 40. Yet, within 24 hours, we've managed to build another 18 troops. Now, that's because I've got nearly 10 industrial centers running around the clock producing troops. And, yeah, so I'm not actually focusing too much on building. Obviously, if we have a look, I am building some stuff. These buildings started days ago, and they're just finishing off. Same with these air bases. So they're building at the moment. These obviously started just over a day ago, and they're now halfway there, which is good to see. And we're just finishing off some upgrades down here. So upgrading oil in particular is going to be a big one, because as we can see, we are producing a massive amount of equipment that uses oil. So we need to make sure that we have the oil to keep them supplied, while also having the oil to upgrade and maintain a strong economy. We do have plenty in reserve, but I'm not too keen to go through that anytime soon. Once you start spamming out infrastructure, you soon smash through 30,000 oil pretty easily, in fact. So as we can see, we're still producing artillery. I've got one more batch in the build queue, and that will start pretty soon. However, the constant building is starting to have its effect, and unless we can get some, there we go, some goods on the market. Okay, that's pretty expensive. I can probably afford to buy 2,000, and then I'll come over to what's food selling at the moment. We'll sell 4,000 food, so we get the best deal around and top up the money, and sell a little bit there. There we go. Okay. So yeah, now our build queue is all good to go, and we have plenty of goods. So actually, while there is goods on the market, after this I am going to spend some time and I am going to come down into some iron producing provinces, food producing provinces, actually maybe even goods, because goods is what we're struggling with at the moment, and build some infrastructure upgrades or upgrade some industrial complexes, maybe even some new air bases. So as we can see, back to this, we're still spamming out aircraft in Wellington, and we're just trying to keep that running around the clock. As we can see, we now have 6 interceptors, and that's a pretty good number, but I'd like to have more. Now, our level 2 air bases are nearly done from what I understand. Yeah, 2 hours, and then I'll start producing tactical bombers from here, and that will give us a massive boost. So actually, what I'll save that material there for is upgrading the industrial complex here so I can get them faster. I have got a level 2 air base going up down here, but that's not going to be done anytime soon. In fact, I think I have another artillery piece lined up after it, yeah. So, I might actually cancel that, and then I'll have it completed here, which seems like a good option. Yeah, so that's what I'll do. I'll actually cancel that right now, and I'll get that lined up to be completed in Townsville. Seems like the better option. Then I can get 2 level 2 air bases producing tactical bombers as soon as possible. And I mean, that's actually a pretty good industrial complex at the moment. It's already level 2, so I'll be able to get those upgraded pretty quick and get those producing really fast. So yeah, we're producing a massive amount of troops. We've also started producing anti-aircraft guns again, and we're going up against active players once we get to Borneo, so we're going to need to make sure we actually have the equipment to take them on. There's no point going into a battle unprepared like that, so it is really important that we do have anti-aircraft guns available. You know, even if we're not going up against aircraft, it helps spread the damage if, you know, enemy infantry attacks. It spreads it out over, you know, 3 unit types instead of 1. So, you know, that goes a long way as well. So it's not just, you know, providing air protection, but just spreading out the damage and ensuring you can last longer in combat. So that's what's happening right there. Yeah, food's taking a real beating. I've got a lot of barracks working at the moment just to ensure that, you know, troops are pumping out fast. One thing people don't realize is that although barracks use a lot of food, they're definitely worth it considering you get a 25% increase to the production of troops. So they're definitely worth running as often as you can. So I'm going to have to spend some money on upgrading my food production. So I mean, it seems like this never ends, this vicious cycle. But I mean, I am producing a massive amount of troops. So we'll actually go and we'll count that right now. How many industrial complexes do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 running around the clock. Possibly even more than that because I didn't have them actually all selected. Let's see. Yeah, so about 12. 12 if you count the one that's nearly done. Once this one here is done, I'll upgrade the barracks and I'll start producing anti-aircraft guns from here. And then after that, start producing infantry. We lost a lot of infantry in the fighting over the past couple of days. We used it basically as cannon fodder. So if we actually find an infantry piece and we select all of the troops we have, including artillery, and what have we got down here? Yeah, got those selected. All that selected. And we get to select those. We can actually see that we don't have all that much. We have 18 submarines, which is actually a pretty massive amount. Our army's still pretty small. We have 8 infantry, 5 anti-tank guns, 1 anti-air piece, 13 artillery, and 1 destroyer. So we're going to definitely increase the amount of destroyers we have. I want to produce maybe 1 more, actually 3 more anti-tank guns, and then just spam out anti-air and get some tactical bombers. So we definitely got a lot of work to do, and a lot of that equipment will be ready within the next few days, hopefully, as we push on forwards. So in terms of how we're doing things down here at the moment, we're just letting our artillery shell things out and then we're moving in. I would like to have this fronted by an infantry unit, so just a regular infantry like I have over here, but I only have 8 and they're spread pretty far, so it's a little challenging to, you know, actually have infantry available at the moment. We've got our infantry holding here and here where we're actually about to be counterattacked, so I'm not sure how we're going to deal with that. What I'm thinking about doing is actually I'll send that, how long can they can get to there? Okay, so that will probably actually beat us. So now I'll keep that with that, make sure that has a high number of troops. I'll send that up to there, I'll bomb that as that walks past, weaken it up, soften it up, and then I'll head up to there and to assist destroying that, and then I will be in range to quickly counter and deal with that. That seems like the way to go. Yeah, so that's what I'll do. So we're slowly advancing behind the cover of artillery and letting artillery do all the work. So basically what's going to happen here is we're going to move up. I want to capture all this part up here and this little bit in here, and then we're going to allow our ally have the cities on the ends and some of the resources as well. We have taken a little bit of land so far and we kind of need to share it out. Also in the newspaper, which we haven't actually got to yet, we'll go over that very quickly now. We managed to climb up into 11th place, which was a lot better than I expected. In fact, at the end of today, I'm hoping to see us jump into the top 10, which is definitely expectable. We didn't make the most advanced nations, but as players start to die, if we come down and we see what's below 25th, oh, there's still actually quite a few players in the game, we should start to see ourselves rise and get a lot more higher on that. Now, I do feel like the reason I believe we're not getting as high up there is we're not investing in armor, and yeah, so I mean I've really actually like been down nearly every path I can do at the moment. If you exclude armor, I'm only really missing a few upgrades, so that's what's happening at the moment. In terms of what we're going to research over the next couple of days, we are going to invest in artillery next and get the upgrade for the range on our aircraft. Flying across Australia is really hard and I don't really have much of a network for it, so if we increase the range we will definitely give ourselves a big advantage. Now, increasing the range also makes us one step closer to being able to fly through Tasmania and then into Australia, instead of having to cross the Tasmanian Sea every time, which takes quite a few hours. So that will definitely speed up our ability to move troops around. And actually, does that upgrade become available on day 8? Yes, it does. So actually, I'm going to get that first. A little bit of a speed upgrade. Seems like the way to go. So I'll save up and I'll get that, and then we'll be set. So actually there might be some rare on the market at the moment. I'll check it out. So one more thing before we have a look around the world is we'll just check in here and just show you what we're doing down in Tasmania. So I'm just doing the same thing that we're doing up in Papua New Guinea, although one thing I'll say I forgot to do here is it would have been smart to attack one of these provinces down here. So attack in Hobart, then move up to here, then capture the capital last, and then that way it will raise the morale in all of the territories down here I've captured and won't have to risk any rebelling. So I did kind of stuff up a little bit there. So the attack I'm going for is just the exact same as in Papua New Guinea. Artillery's firing, the troops are marching forwards, and yeah, if it wants to counter-attack, that level 1 infantry can counter-attack against my level 2, it will get smoked, or I can just sit there and it can get shelled out. So that's the plan there. Anyway, let's zoom out and let's, there we go. If you were confused by what territory I control, you can definitely see it now, although I mean, I don't know how you couldn't see it before. A nice defined border. Anyway, enough of the morale map chat. We have enough of that as is. If we come up into Asia, we can see that our South Korean ally is basically all but gone. Effectively, he's given up. However, our two allies in the north of Asia are still up there putting up a fight, but I guess they still have something to fight for. So it'll be interesting to see how they go in the coming days. As far as we're concerned though, they're making for a great distraction at the moment. Keeping these two busy up here will mean that when we attack Borneo, which is the ally, we should have a pretty easy run through. In fact, Borneo appears to be pretty inactive over the past few days. From what I've seen, this province here that rebelled to the Philippines rebelled yesterday, and he hasn't done anything about it since. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I've also scouted out, and he does have artillery in his core provinces, but I mean, a few pieces of artillery here and there are not going to be too much of an issue. So South India has attacked Tibet, and that should be over pretty quickly. Now, South India is allied with these guys over here as well, so it's good to see that they're keeping themselves busy fighting over there. I'm not really too keen to go fighting South India and all these guys at the same time. So hopefully we can move in, take up Borneo, and then once we control the seas, capturing back this territory is usually pretty goddamn hard, and we'll be able to, you know, take it one step at a time. So how I want to progress things is to take out these guys. I want to capture Japan, give us a base of operations, then move and liberate South Korea, or Korea in general, I guess it's not divided yet, and then we can head back round and attack them up here and get into the cores and do some real damage. Although considering we are up against some gold users, it could be interesting to see how it goes. Although considering we have water boundaries in between us, any counterattack they make is likely to be unsuccessful. One thing I will say about gold users is very rarely do they understand the power of a navy or build one at all, so I feel like in that area we can hold them for a good amount of time until reinforcements come from the west. So over here at the moment, up in Europe, we can see that Romania, good old friend London Field, is making some good old progress. Now he's gearing up at the moment and is defending this border around here, but he also, from what he's been saying on the Discord channels, wants to move up and head north and take these guys out. They are fighting at the moment against Norway and Sweden, and they've had some interesting results. Sweden countered and was able to capture Finland's capital. So clearly they're not too coordinated and they're letting the small things slip. When you're playing against King Congo and these two right here, you don't want to let the small things like that slip. So I'm not sure what King Congo is planning at the moment. King Congo is Italy. I believe he's probably gearing up to move in and take out the United Kingdom, considering the United Kingdom is now inactive. So he'll probably do that within the next few days, considering he's massing troops over here. That seems like a logical step. Now, I wonder if he's actually begun production of aircraft yet. Yeah, that's odd for King. He loves his aircraft. That's yeah, normally something he'd get right on top of. So that's what's happening there at the moment. They're also clearing out Bulgaria, and then after that they'll be available to take out Spain if they want to. I'm not sure what their policy is with him, and then start moving into Russia. If we have a look down here, we can also see that Egypt has finished his first batch of light tanks and is slowly finishing off Ethiopia. It appears as if Saudi Arabia has moved in to claim some of the land as well, which is interesting to see. If we head over into South America, we can see the usual powers are still making ground. This guy up here has made some major pushes and he now appears to be pushing into Venezuela. So if we turn off the morale map, yeah, he is pushing into those fortified locations. So he's making some good ground there. It also appears as though East Amazonas is inactive, is being absolutely destroyed. South Argentina and North Argentina appear to be making some good ground, although they've stopped up here. I wonder if they're at war with this guy. Let's just check that out. Nah, they're not. So that's what's happening there at the moment. It does look as if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are allied and in the same coalition, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. In America, Illinois, Quebec, and New England are very quickly cleaning up the place and have taken over a large area and at least at this point control half the territory. Although they are now going to have to move in and take out Texas, which is fortified along this border. But like I said in the last episode, I mean, he doesn't have any artillery. He has an Air Force, but New England's artillery is equipped with anti-air, well, at least soon to be. So, you know, hitting those will be pretty hard. So there's not really much else to say. I don't really have an insight into anywhere else. But if we come back around to Australia and New Zealand, we'll finish the episode here. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.